Welcome back, fellow NSCSA watchers. We are going to be starting off with Fortnite Division 3. We have all these schools as far as David City all the way out to Mitchell and Pender. All of them are going to be competing in 4 various drops, 2 of which are going to be build, 2 of which are going to be zero build, which are kind of intertwined in between each other. So we will start with a build drop, then go into zero build, then we'll go back to build, and finally we'll go into zero build to end off Division 3.
And that'll be starting shortly. Here's our schedule for the day. We did have to postpone Division 2 to a later date because of some technical problems within the game itself this morning, but the rest of the day should be good to go. And that'll be starting just shortly. Here's all of the teams that'll be going. As you can see, on the left it'll show we're starting with drop 1's going to be the build, which you can use your materials to place structures, and then drop 2 we're going to zero build, where you obviously you can't, and then drop 3 back to build, drop 4 zero build. The way scoring is going to work is you're going to get points for placement and then also points for elimination, but you'll get more points for placement. So first I believe is 30 points.
I know it's 5 points for each placement, isn't it?
First is 30, second.
So first is 30, second is 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and then every elimination you'll get 2 points. Those will get all added up between all the drops, and whoever has the most points is the winner for Division 3.
Definitely does, it encourages making sure you stay alive, but it also does encourage you to get some eliminations as well to kind of throw yourself over some of those higher placing teams just in case.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of strategy involved with it and not just pure skill of, oh, I'm going to shoot everybody and eliminate them. You also have to worry about your placement and everything that you're doing in the game itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm personally more of a builds guy, so when I heard they were, doing some zero build, I was like, that's really odd. But I mean, zero build does take a lot of skill. It takes a lot of mental, it takes a lot of thinking to do good in zero build.
Me personally, I have dabbled in zero build, and I find that it's a lot more of you have to plan out your rotations and everything, because as the zone slowly shrinks just around the map, you need to make sure you're in a good position, because you can't just build cover with your builds. You have to actually be able to use your guns and use the environment around you.
Yeah, that is true. And I mean, I'm not sure if they're in right now, but I know usually the strategy to last zones in zero build is porta bunkers and things like that. So if they're still in the game, then porta bunkers are going to be like, the gold of the entire world. Everybody's going to be wanting to travel to San Francisco to find a porta bunker. But I mean, yeah, zero build just takes so much more skill. It takes a lot more aim. You have to, like you said, plan out your rotations and just make sure you're doing everything. You got to beware of the kneecapper though. It's lethal.
And on the other hand, build is also it's almost like a different game, because you can place all your builds, and most of your fights aren't just going to be pure weapons, but they're just going to be building to completely just kill them,
Yeah, I mean, I remember last year when we were doing box fights, it was pretty interesting because it was a lot more mechanical. You had to plan out everything, but yeah.
I think we are ready to start shortly. We're waiting on 3 teams currently. As you can see, we have 49 players. So as soon as those teams get in, we'll be ready to go.
Currently waiting on, those 3 teams.
We'll go to a short ad break real quick, and then we'll be back with the game. Okay, so we are still waiting on a couple schools to get into it. I think we're getting pretty close, though. So it's looking like, I believe we're going to have around 60 players then in the lobby.
Yep, close to 60.
How many teams are there? So there's 14 teams. Each team is a team of 4 people. And each player can have, 5 items?
Yep, 5 items.
You, obviously, I don't know how much people know about it, but you start the game, you get a drop wherever you want. There's a big map. and then you just get a drop wherever you want, and as the game progresses, there's a circle that comes, and you have to get within the circle, and it pushes everybody together, and if you don't, you take damage, and it'll eliminate you. So it just kind of forces everyone together, so they just keep having to fight and have to keep eliminating each other until there's one team left, and then that's who gets the game. But for us, the team that gets first place in the actual drop might not be the team that wins for the points because of the way that we're doing points based off of placement, but also eliminations.
And then again, we're also playing 4 different drops, so a team could get first in one, they could get last in another. So it's really just, you got to stay consistent the entire way through if you really do want to climb your way to the top.
And it is only placement for the top 6 teams. And the thing that's just interesting about placement points even is you could have 3 of your teammates die really early on, and maybe you couldn't like revive them or anything, and then you could just have 1 more player left. They could stay alive and get even just 4th place by hiding, and then they could get just more points than somebody that got eliminated and only got 2 kills.
Yep, that is something that's very interesting. One thing I will like to mention before, while we're waiting here, if you haven't gotten your 2025 Spring Esports State merchandise, the store closes next Sunday, so make sure to grab it. The color scheme's pretty nice. It's a nice dark green, very nice. Go grab yourself a nice long sleeve shirt, crew neck, hoodie, t-shirt, all that stuff. I mean, they look really good. I mean, they should be available at State too. Not for purchase, only for the people who have purchased them beforehand. But yeah, I just thought I'd, plug some merch in because it's really cool.
Yeah, it definitely is cool merch.
All right.
This is our online state. When is actual state?
Our actual
In
state
person?
is, I think, the Friday of the 12th. So 12th,
right.
13th, sometime. It's that Friday and Saturday around that week. So yeah.
And that is at
That is at Doane College. Divisions 1 and 4 are going to be on that Friday, whereas Divisions 2 and 3 are going to be the day after.
All right, yeah, and we're just getting ready to drop in here. We have 49 players.
It's crazy stuff, man.
Here is all of the players that we have in this game right now.
Dude, did I just see Skibidi? Dude, there's no way. That's so cool.
And then you get their health. The way that health works in Fortnite is you have 100 white health, which that's a different sort of heals, and then there's a 100 shield that you can have as well. So you can have up to 200 total.
And yeah, and when you get to 0 build, you do also unlock the new mechanic of overshield, so that gives you the possibility of having 250 total health.
And looking at this map, as you can see, the different colors are all the different teams. So towards the bottom, you can see the yellow team. They're all going down there. There's a lot of people going up to the northeast corner of the map, so there might be some early fights going on over by like Magic Moses.
I definitely do think that northeast part of the map is where we will want to be to get the most action possible. And I mean, I definitely think if someone can stay alive, or if a team can stay alive and get some elims, they'll definitely be sitting pretty.
For sure. So this is
David City.
David City, yeah. They are, looks like they're over, this is up one of the teams over in the northeast corner.
Team, who's this?
It looks like,
Magic.
looking at it, David City just got into a fight, took a couple people down.
Oh yeah, just Cloudsy and Nerd Justin just got into some fight.
Lots of different players. In the early stages of the game, you're just wanting to really loot up, get better loot, farm stuff to get materials to build with, and just kind of just get a better inventory for all your players.
And right now we are spectating we're spectating LCC, and they landed at Kappa Factory. Yeah, looking at this right now, early game loadout, blue shotgun. We got an SMG, got an AR, pretty good. Unfortunately, no health or no shield. It has 2 medals though, or shield.
And Mr. Grenades.
Mr. Grenades, ooh. Yeah, I mean, you're on the floor barrel, so you should be able to get at least 60 health. Probably do it. All very close. They're all
Looks
wearing the
like
same skin.
they're all wanting to match skins here.
Different
Nice
pickaxes though. Different pickaxes though. So it's definitely gonna be harder to tell who's who, but it's still gonna be, you know, a distinctive factor, especially since it's filled and you do have to break walls with your pickaxe. They can point it out through pickaxe. I know I've done that.
That is definitely a different strategy for these games. Are when you have 4 people, if you all are wearing the same outfit, it can be hard to distinguish who's who for the enemy team. Looking at the next team here, they're over in Max Meadows. This is Mitchell.
Mask Meadows. Again, shotgun, AR, you know, SMG. We're gonna see oh, it looks like there is 2 teams here, so they could be getting into an altercation here in a second.
Yeah, it looks like there's definitely some of those white people are in the middle of those pink ones.
Yeah.
Looking at the map at the bottom. If we look at our map in general, you can see some of the players are definitely more dispersed. They find areas that are more uncontested, and they just try to stay away from other players.
You know, looking at it, there's been quite a few people eliminated as well.
And as you can see, that white ring and that purple ring, that's the storm that shrinks down. You have to be inside of that white ring, otherwise you get damaged, could potentially get eliminated.
One thing I'm hoping to see in this endgame that I've seen a lot in competitive is a heal off. So I definitely think if we're playing for heal off, which I don't think we will have to because we're not in a, you know, we're not going to try and play as long as possible. I do still recommend, you know, having them stock up on heals and everything. That's an interesting loadout if I've ever seen it. Kneecapper, shotgun, 2 shockwave grenades, and a shield pot. We got 30 shields. Back at
This
David
is back
City.
to David City.
Looks like they still have their whole team and they're in good standing too.
This is Winnebago. They're the other team in Mass Meadows with Mitchell. So it looks like they're actually in the middle of a confrontation right now.
Ooh.
Let's watch this and see how this plays out. Looks like they're just trying to get some natural cover behind this bus.
Very sweaty skins, may I mention. One of them's wearing the Great Britain Mogul Master. Another one's wearing the French one, so same colors, different, you know, individual countries. And then one's wearing 11 from Stranger Things. Very interesting combination. I mean, you can really have anything in Fortnite, though. Oh, he's not going to suspect this. Oh!
Looks like
Lasered.
hit him really low. He's trying to get into his builds now.
And look at that, there's one
He
knock.
get the knock on one player and the elimination.
And yeah, it looks like Smoky got hit a little bit as well. And so he's throwing shockwaves away. Gonna have...
He's boxing up, but
Wall.
no wall.
Oh, he
Might
did
try
not
to
take the
jump
wall.
in.
Oh, outplayed. Oh, he misses the shot. Unfortunate. He's going to hold this, though, and try to get some damage off on this guy. Lasering him out of the sky. He's going to chase him. Only one shot hit.
Looks like it is a 2v1 right now. They're doubling up on this player from Mitchell.
He is white, and now he is knocked.
Now it's just a 3v1 for the final Mitchell player. I'm curious if he's going to try to fight it out or if he's going to try to run away and just stay alive.
He's been hiding down there for quite a while now, so I would hope he would stay down there, get some placement points instead of trying to go ahead and throw his body out there, lose, and just not getting the placement.
For sure. That's what I would do, me personally, but
Yep.
it is a different game, for sure.
There is currently 9 teams left, so I mean, if you can just stay alive until 3 more teams do dissipate. Oh, just like that. 1 team's gone.
It looks like over in something city, Spearmint City, there's a fight. Let's see if we can try to find that.
Nebraska Fan 16 was just eliminated. Oh, we got, let's see,
Here's that fight going on.
Bridgeport,
Looks like it's Bridgeport fighting.
David City. Oh, Gold Loot too. Oh,
He's getting hit
getting
really
pummeled.
hard here.
Boxing up, taking some minis. He does have an open wall, so they could take advantage of that. Oh, and the structure gets
He is
broken
low
down.
on materials. He only has 2 builds left for him.
Ooh, he has no builds
more
left.
builds.
And, ooh,
He gets caught in that sticky situation with no builds left.
Nerd Justin just W King, and that's another team gone. Bridgeport has officially just been eliminated from this drop.
Looks like David City is just playing really aggressive. They're just trying to find teams and eliminate them for those points.
I mean, yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, you got a kid like Nerd Justin who's good at every single game he touches. Like, I mean, this whole team is just naturally talented.
Looks like they're finding another team here too.
Oh, they're just gonna W key them. Let's see. Good pressure.
This is a really good loadout from Nerd Justin here.
Yeah, both mythics and a kneecapper as well.
With good heals too.
Okay, they're
It looks like
fighting
they're fighting
Amherst.
Amherst here too.
And they're lasering the heck out of them. There's just one more Amherst player.
Looks like he might be trying to run away.
Definitely would be a good idea.
There are only 7 teams left, so after this one team,
Okay.
one more team gets eliminated, placement points will start being dished out. Looking at our map, there's nobody over on the western side. Everybody's over on this eastern side here, which is definitely really interesting.
Yep.
Because this zone, it will pull people over to the western side, if I'm not mistaken.
And then there's still that Mitchell team player who is still alive and is very close to getting some placement points. Sitting down there.
This is LLC. Looks like they're just driving to zone in a car. It's a
Pretty
little
nice.
group road trip.
Pretty nice car, I'd say. I mean, I'd definitely want one of those in my garage in the future. Nice little Whiplash. This is also a car in Rocket League, so it's a pretty nice car.
This is Amherst. Looks like he's the only one left alive on his team, so he's just trying to stay alive to get those placement points. But
Another person did just get eliminated, though.
looks like he is close to other people though on the map.
Oh, he's about to run back into David City. Oh,
And his car is having some really difficult off-roading troubles right here.
who gave this man his driver's license? That's my question. Oh my lord, he's running. He's
getting
getting
that car is
lasered.
gonna blow up.
He's gonna blow. Oh my god!
He's
And
gonna
just
get
like that,
eliminated.
he is eliminated. David City with another elimination and the full elimination on that team. Oh, it looks like they're fighting another team.
David City as a whole right now,
They're looking unstoppable. Oh my
they have
lord!
14 kills.
Nerd Justin just broke into that box and just. Oh my lordy, that's crazy. They're currently fighting Elkhorn Valley and.
There is 6 teams alive though, so now as teams go down, they will start to get placement
Ooh,
points.
there are 2. There's one knocked and one low. Oh, Nerd Justin is currently low on health, taking some mini shields. They do have to make sure they can get out of this fight alive if they do want a good shot. As of right now, I think, 11? They got like 15 kills this squad alone, so if they win, they'll be in good standing. Oh,
For sure.
Nerd Justin just got knocked.
Looks
Nerd
like
Justin
they're
is
going to take
gone.
down another team. He has the high ground here, just going to keep spraying down at him, try to get into that box and fight him.
He needs to get some shields, though, in the system, low-key.
Both of them are
gonna hold that.
semi-low on health. Could both be one shot with the shotgun.
Oh, he's not going to take the wall. He's going to play up. Oh, and just like that,
Getting
I think the
beamed
team.
from a different angle.
I think that team is dead.
There's only 4 teams left now. It's like Winnebago just getting out of zone here, so they're going to be a little bit low on health. And it looks like they might have to fight a team coming in from the storm.
Ooh, Golden Llama. Got some good stuff out of that. Oh, someone did just get knocked by. Who knocked that? Let's see. Hemingford just knocked a player out from
Looks like
Winnebago.
there's going to be another fight coming down here as people are approaching. This is LCC. Gonna see if he can get a nice shot with that mammoth pistol.
I mean, Mitchell does have some good numbers here. They have 4-2 on them. Because, I mean, I'd say the star player for David City is dead, and Nerd Justin, he's dead. They need to get him rebooted if they do want to have a good standing right here.
And the interesting thing about Fortnite too is how fast a game can change. You can be winning a fight and then one player can just hit one more shot. As you can see even with this mammoth pistol, it is almost always a one-shot headshot.
And it does look like Hemingford just did get some kills on Winnebago as well, up in the kill feed. Oh, and they did get Nerd Justin back in David City.
Still looking at the map, all of the players are on that eastern side. Nobody is taking the play to move over to the left side of the map.
Oh.
Big fight going down here, though.
See, exactly like you said, it's weird how quickly things can change in a match of Fortnite, because just a second ago, David City had 2 players. Now they have 4 players and are overtaking the situation, making Winnebago evacuate.
Looks like he's just trying to get out with his life here. 24
Oh, he
1
might not.
HP.
He is 1 HP. Oh, and he is
eliminated.
dead. David City with another squad.
David
Yeah,
City with
100%.
22 kills currently.
That's crazy, man.
They're just choosing to push and take out everybody that they see.
Alright, we are currently watching Hemingford before we went onto the map.
It looks like one player is stuck in the zone right here.
Definitely do think that it was that one player from... It was one David, or it was when someone else got into an altercation over by the place near them.
So that's David City. This is also David City. It's
Yeah, that one player from Mitchell is, I do believe, is still down in that little bunker. Unless he died.
looks like he has a lot of heals right here. A Chug Jug with 120 HP and 3 medkits, which each have 100. So he's just trying to stay alive here in the zone and just try to get placement points for his team.
There's a med kit and some shield barrels too. Oh, he's gonna go ahead and reboot.
Looks like he's going to be able to, with this reboot van, up to 120 seconds or maybe 200 after one of your teammates gets eliminated, you can go to the spot that they died and pick up their reboot card. You can then, at any of these vans placed around the map, go and reboot your teammates, and then they can come back to life, which is really interesting and might just even give them the upper hand in these next fights for Mitchell, because now instead of it being a 1v4 or a 1v3, he now has 2 other teammates to help him.
Another thing to add on to that is when you do get rebooted, you spawn in with a gray pistol and 100 wood, so it does give you enough to kind of recover if you are if you're getting, you know, W keyed by another team.
It does, but still, with all the going up against all the other teams' good loot, only having a gray pistol and a little bit of material sometimes isn't enough.
Sometimes. I've made it work before, back in my day.
That is true. Having bodies and being alive is always better than being dead.
I would definitely agree with that statement right there.
This is the other team alive right now, which is Hemingford.
Playing it like Save the World. They're building up a fort.
They have a nice base here. They just have to be careful not to get shot out.
Yeah.
All of the builds in Fortnite do have physics mechanics, so if you shoot out the build that's attaching them to the ground, all of the builds above will fall, and you could die to fall damage.
It does look like they are high enough to die from fall damage if they do get shot out.
Looks like he's just taking his time to line up a shot.
He does also have one of the little buddies. He has the wind one, so it gives him a very nice opportunity to rotate when he needs to.
The interesting part about these fights right now is that they're all happening on the edge of the zone. As these zones shrink, there's so much less space for players to move around and to maneuver.
Definitely makes everybody a lot more conscientious of where they are and what they need to do in order to survive against, you know, these other teams who are of varying skill.
Especially with the aggressiveness of David City right here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they're gonna fight their way into any zone they, you know, kind of want to, because they can W key anything, and they just take the wall every single time.
It looks like Hemingford is kind of low on materials and ammo. So that's definitely a resource that they have to use very smartly.
And looking at it, the health from Hemingford, they have one player who is on around, what, 30 to 40 HP, no shields. The other ones do have quite a bit of health and shields, and one of them is just knocked.
And this one is currently in the midst of a build battle.
Oh,
See
and
if
he's
he
getting
can-
double teamed. Ooh.
really close to taking it down. Nerd Justin is really low HP at the moment.
And No way. He's running away, trying to save his life. And he's getting lasered.
He's going to be stuck in this
Oh,
hole
that
now.
was a mistake. Surely it was.
He
Unfortunate.
had not much materials or anything there. So now we have down to 2 teams, David City and Winnebago.
And if I think one of the players just used the F key emoticon.
It's like they're just taking their time to rotate into zone right now. David City is very far away from zone, however.
They are very far away, but they won't have any problems getting back into it, though. They have plenty of rotational material. Just sitting in the car. This is some very interesting gameplay here from Winnebago, but I mean, it works.
It does work.
Did take quite a bit of storm damage, though, so they will definitely have to use some of those materials that they do have, like the 3 medkits that Smoky has, and that Jug with 60 health left on it.
That is true. Looking at it, it looks like David City is just trying to get ahead of the zone. The one interesting thing as you get later into the game, as you can see if you look in the map in the bottom corner, the zones tend to move back into themselves. So you can't always pre-rotate, because if you go into the zone where it is right now, you will be taking damage.
Ooh, Just Clousy just got lasered by Winnebago. That's the last battle.
It is going to be the last battle of the game right here. That is true.
Yeah, whoever wins this wins the, obviously withstood the longest, but depending on how many kills they had, could be a different story. On
Nerd
if they win
Justin
the
just
round.
jumping in there.
I wouldn't
No
say that's a
regard
good
for his
idea.
life.
I don't think that's a good idea, especially, you know, they have this backup spraying, but I
His
mean,
back is open though.
he's on low ground. Smoky has some pretty good high ground on him, but he is getting W-keyed by Cloudsy as well.
His
And
teammates are providing a lot of cover fire.
yeah, but just Cloudsy, he's lasered again. 43 total health. He's one shot to about any. Oh, and Duck 32 goes down. Keep in mind, Winnebago is a 3-person team. And if they were able to, you know, take down David City, that would be very impressive because they have a disadvantage in numbers from the start.
And looking at it, also resources, ammo and weapons, David City has a lot better of them. But since Winnebago has gotten 1 kill off, that means it's now a 3v3 against David City.
Even playing field, they just got to make sure they value their life to a point, but also don't just give them all the time in the world to get heals or rotate away.
Just looking at it, they did get that refresh from that 1 kill, so they will have more resources now.
Nerd Justin is still at full HP as well, so I mean, they will have to worry about that.
Looks like all of the loadouts from all these David City players are looking really good and really full. Looking at it, he has max ammo for his minigun and his shotgun.
That minigun in itself just looks very daunting, especially in the hands of, you know, David City.
Here these zones are going to start going faster, so as you can see, these players are getting forced to rotate faster.
Nerd Justin got hit by 1 AR shot. Oh, Smoky gets lasered out of the sky by Nerd Justin, though. He has to fight this. Oh,
He gets knocked and probably taken down. It's going to be very hard to
Oh,
revive him.
Adarius dead to Nerd Justin in the storm as well. They're having troubles rotating in, and David City takes the first drop.
Taking that first game here.
Wow, that was
very well played out by them. Looks like they got how many kills?
16 plus 13. 29 kills.
29 kills. That is over half of the lobby.
Yeah, that's over half of the lobby. What a stellar game from this squad.
That definitely was a good one. There was a lot of action that we saw, and even the end, those games went very long with those placements into those moving zones.
Definitely do agree with you. But yeah, that final fight, that was again, like you said at the beginning, things can change so quickly. You know, Winnebago gets 1 knock on David City. Next thing you know, they're both having to fight against the storm. Nerd Justin gets hit with 1 shot. Next thing you know, Winnebago tries to rotate into the, into the circle. Just gets lasered, and they end up losing because of it.
Yeah, completely. I think, honestly, the thing that just really helped David City there was their rotations. And the way that they just got the early rotations so they could catch Winnebago with their utility in their hands and not their guns.
Yeah.
That's really the main thing with all these fights that I think we've seen.
Hmm. The one thing I would say though is that they can't be throwing their lives at the enemy like that sometimes though. Like we saw, Nerd Justin just threw his life out.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely just jumping in there. That would be really easy to just kind of take advantage of, and you could really catch him in a bad position. But his teammates also are. That's a lot of teamwork right there to know that, hey, Nerd Justin's going to jump in, and the rest of us are just going to shoot the enemies as he exposes them to us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely, it's very a team-based game when you have 3 teammates that you have to collaborate with and make plans with for every single fight.
It is. It's a lot more to keep track of compared to last year's Fortnite.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to be right back after we finish out our points. Welcome back, everyone. We just watched a really great match, I'd say.
Definitely agree.
There was lots of action, and I feel like it was just action-packed in general. Let's look at our results from that game.
Didn't think that.
Okay, so we have David City currently in first place with 88 points.
Oh my lord.
I think they got the 30 points from their placement in first place, and then they had another 55 wait.
Yeah, they had 29 kills.
29 kills, so they got the rest of the points from eliminations, which
That's impressive.
that is definitely impressive. And then looking at it, looks like we had Winnebago in second with 47. They did get second place, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hemingford next. And then, as you can see, they just go down. LCC, Mitchell, Elkhorn Valley, Amherst, Bridgeport. And I think those are all the schools that might have gotten points for placement.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the top 6, I believe, actually.
Top 6.
So the rest were from eliminations, which you get 2 for eliminations. So it looks like that game, Syracuse just had 1 elimination, but it got points, and it did put them on the board.
Definitely good to see that Mitchell got some placement points after, most of their team died before top 6.
That is true. They did die really early. So just that one player being able to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, that really that put them up on the board. And, I mean, they're 3 points behind LCC, so 2 eliminations and some placement definitely could put them over them.
And it definitely can change here because now we're going to go into actually zero build instead of build. So it'll be a lot different of a game. Because I feel like, just looking at it, David City, really, they did have a lot of building required. And I feel like in zero builds, it's a lot more of a rotation and aim game.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that changes the placements and everything.
Yeah, I definitely do think that David City could struggle potentially because, I mean, like you said, they do a lot of building in their regular build games. And, I mean, they don't have that extra protection anymore, so they have to be more strategic with what they do. They can't just throw themselves out there like they were doing last game.
That is true. If I had to make a guess, I would say that this game, there's going to be a lot more teams alive by the end. Because I feel like in zero build, there are a lot more teams that you can't really just run in and fight because you're scared of getting shot in the back and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing this game might go longer or might go into more zones and maybe be more of a rotation based. It is crazy how much of a difference, and it's just a different game in general from build to zero build.
Very different, very different. And, I mean, saw a lot of people had the kneecapper in their inventory last game. Didn't see a lot of use for the kneecapper.
Yeah, which that's that bat that you can use to
Just
damage
fling
people
people
or
off the
throw
map.
them away. That is true.
Yep.
Looks like we do have 49 players currently in the queue.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we'll get started shortly.
And yeah, going off of some placements last game, looks like we saw, David City got first, Winnebago got second, Hemingford got third, LCC got fourth, Mitchell got fifth with 1 player doing so, and Elkhorn Valley got sixth, all of which received some points for their placement.
That is good. Placement It definitely is a really big part of the game,
It
as
is.
you can see.
It's a very big part of the game, but I mean, David City, they showed that elims can be a lot bigger of a part of the game.
That is definitely true, because it does take 2.5 kills to get points for that placement.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like one of our teams that was queued is no longer queued. So, that's interesting. They'll probably get back in shortly. That's just our results again, and this is just... Definitely, it is crazy how fast they can change. Through this zero build game, somebody at the bottom could definitely even just go back to the top so fast.
Yeah. Definitely do think any explosives could definitely benefit some people, especially with the lack of cover in this game mode.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think I'm excited to watch it.
I definitely think that minigun could also play a big part too, because I mean, if you have a minigun in zero build, it's basically like, shooting at a pop can or something. Surely.
For sure. I'm also interested with just how drops are going to change too. We saw that last game. A lot of the players really did land in the same sort of area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested if they're going to learn from just that game where people are landing, and if they try to switch it up or if they just try to fight it out at the same spots.
Mm-hmm. I definitely would hope they wouldn't try and fight it out at the same spots, because I mean, that's a one-way ticket to losing placement and potentially getting your opportunity at winning.
Or it's a
Shot.
one-way ticket to getting 8 more points off of elimination.
That is true. You just have to, you have to think about it both ways. It's like a double-edged sword. You can either get a good result, or you could have your entire result ruined just by one game.
Yeah, that's very true. There's just so many different things that could change so fast with this game, and that's what I love about it.
It does look like that team that did disconnect got back in, so 49 total players.
All right, I'm guessing, are we going to start soon probably then?
I would sure hope so, because I want to see how this game will play out. I'm very interested.
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely, that's the thing that's also interesting about the way we're doing Fortnite this year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we just had a 2v2 box fights, which is definitely a really different game. You're just fighting another team of 2 in a small box.
I'd argue it's a lot more fun, but other people have different opinions.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a different sort of game. And this one is just, there's a lot more adaptability that comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
You're fighting multiple different teams, potentially 14 other teams of 4, and it's builds and zero builds, which, as we've said before, they're just different games. So,
Okay, how about this? Zero build box fights. I think that would be pretty interesting.
that would be interesting. I feel like it would be a lot of just fast round games.
Nah, people would play it out, surely.
I don't know who would enjoy playing that. I don't know if I would or not, but
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
yeah, I think we're getting ready to start in just about a minute, actually. So I think we'll go to a quick ad break real quick, and we'll be right back.
Points are losing out on.
Okay, welcome back. We are ready to start now. So we have 49 players in the queue. The same teams as before. And let's just see how this game plays out. This one is zero build. And yeah.
Beyond interested to see how well all of these teams will adapt to the different nature of this game mode. Very interested to see that. Alright, we are currently on Winnebago in the pregame lobby. They got second place last round. So, let's see, how far they'll get this round.
Yeah, here is your... Looks like... Here we go. We're getting ready to go in with this bus right here.
The battle bus. Big balloon bus. Last time I checked, I had a balloon at least.
It's like there's a couple teams. It is looking more dispersed currently, just looking at it from here.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of players just jumped right there.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to aim for... Oh, a lot of them are dropping and going towards the south, that top left corner area. I don't know my cardinal directions because I don't think that much.
It was a lot in the top right last game. This game, it's looking like a lot more headed to the left. Looking at the middle right, over by like Seaport City and Shining Span, there's 3 teams already going over there. So that's interesting.
And then there's way more teams just going throughout that entire northwest part of the map too. I mean, one team landing probably at Magic Mosses. Here we got Winnebago landing at Lone Wolf Lair. You know, I like to be the lone wolf sometimes. I like to, do that type of thing sometimes. Just scream in the wind. All right, kneecapper right off the bat for Winnebago as well. That's pretty nice.
Here is a team that landed at just a little calm gas station outside of brutal something.
Brutal something, yeah. It does look like it is Elkhorn Valley. Let's see if they can have a little bit better of a performance this round than they did last round.
And with it being 0 build, I feel like this also, you're going to carry different loadouts. As you were saying, the porta cover that you can find with those little portable walls that you can just throw down are very useful.
As we just saw, one of the players on Elkhorn Valley was carrying 2 mammoth pistols. Oh, it looks, oh my lordy lord, someone just got knocked and eliminated.
Already eliminated. Looks like there's going to be a fight going down here in the top left-hand corner of the map.
Yeah, and it looks like that player was from Louisville. So, let's hope that the rest of their team can stay alive and hopefully get some placement points. Because last round they unfortunately did not get any placement points, I don't believe.
The interesting thing about landing farther away from the path that the bus takes is it does take longer to land onto the map. And because of that, some players will have less time to loot. Like looking at it, LPS 3, he is having a lot less time. Because he just touched down on the ground, just only searched 2 chests. And on some other teams, even looking at it, they have full loadouts already.
And yeah, looking at Bridgeport, I mean, 2 launch pads, 2 med kits, a mini shield, a shotgun, and an AR. This is about a full loadout for
really solid
for the average game. There's that kneecapper, like I mentioned earlier, on Winnebago.
Yeah, looks like there's not even another team on Lone Wolf Lair. While it was looking earlier in the game like there was going to be a lot of people contesting here, which is interesting.
I mean, definitely is. I do think it looks like one of the best places to loot. The house is very spacious, so I definitely would think there's a lot of space for those chests to be scattered around there and some ammo crates too.
Looking at it here, the fastest elimination was by Got Cooked, who is on...
Where is Got Cooked? Who is he cooking? That's a better question.
He's on some team.
Oh.
This is one of those vaults that you can get right here, which can have just a lot of loot inside of them. They're definitely harder to get, and they might take a little longer, and you have to fight all these NPCs, but this is how you get some of that mythic loot and some of that better loot to help you take down your opponents.
Definitely do say going for the vault is a very good tactic, especially, really in any game mode at this point. Because, I mean, like you said, they give you great loot, and I mean, they have those legendary chests in there that give you those higher rarities of loot. And I mean, it's a good way to, get an advantage early on in the game.
Looks like David City is going for this train vault. Looks interesting.
Cruising around. Oh, there's that legendary chest like I was mentioning.
Here's one of those looks of all the loot that you can find inside.
They're getting W keyed by an AI currently. Or by 2 of them, as a matter of fact.
2 AIs. They did get hit down a little bit low. The one interesting thing about 0 build is you have your base 100 health, 100 shield, but you also have the option for, well, not the option, but you do always have this 50 over shield, which is just self-regenerating shield that when you get hit, it'll go down, and then after not fighting for a couple seconds, it'll go back up.
Looks like Bridgeport is having a little bit of fun. Just trying to play for some placements this time. Back to Winnebago. Still looting the vault, still looting that entire down area. Back to Bridgeport, who's still having some fun. And then back to Winnebago, who's currently going out.
Here's a different team.
We got Hemingford.
This is Hemingford, yeah. They might be trying to fight Lone Wolf Lair shortly. We'll have to see.
So hopefully they can get him into a good position to fight instead of pushing over, having a bad position, and then dying, losing out on placement.
It does look like they're gonna want to start getting into a fight here. Maybe
David City just did contest the team, knocked 2 of them.
That is true. I would be interested to see. Most of these loadouts already are looking just a lot more diverse, I'd say. From my experiences in Zero Build, a lot more people will have less weapons and more heals, which isn't really what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a lot of weapons and those kneecappers that you've been talking about.
It did look like Elkhorn Valley and David City were just in an altercation, and it looked like David City came out on top of that.
Here is Louisville. Looking at it, 2 of their just teammates got eliminated early on. So they're just playing a 2-person game right now. It looks like they might be trying to get that reboot van off that we talked about earlier.
Definitely do think there is only one way to describe that situation for Louisville, and it was the player's name we were spectating. Oh no. Definitely not a good position to be in if you're Louisville and wanting to get some placement points.
And those reboot vans too, they do make a lot of noise. They alert every enemy on the map to where you are, and that you're going to be rebooting 2 teammates that only have a gray pistol.
It looks like Got Cooked, the kill leader at the beginning of the match, is on Stanton. So currently we are spectating Stanton. Right.
Looking at it currently, the most eliminations is from Sheriff Cooper on Stanton.
So they're sitting pretty right now.
Which it's definitely different from how we started seeing the beginning of the last game played out.
It looks like the entire set of accolades that we just saw were from the Stanton team as well.
Even just looking at the map here, you can see how much more spread out all these players are.
Yeah, very spread out, as you can see that green arrow in the top right corner in the zone. Wonder what he's doing over there. Nobody may know.
Looks like he's looking for a reboot van, if I had to guess.
I also do think he's in a car because he's moving on the road.
That would be a good observation to make.
Let's hope he can make it out alive out of there. Real Fat Albert is on this team.
This is Amherst.
Big fan of Fat Albert. He's a pretty entertaining guy.
Looks like they're just trying to loot up a little bit more. They might be getting in a fight here, though.
They have plenty of heals right here. I do think it would be a good idea to take some of those heals. Oh, and he just gets lasered. Sheriff Cooper right behind him. He might laser up this team too.
They're fighting Stanton here.
Yep, Stanton versus
Amherst.
Oh, and it looks like Amherst is taking the short end of the stick right now. And Amherst has just been eliminated by Stanton. Again, adding on to the plethora of accolades that Stanton has achieved.
It is interesting, even there, we could all see how even though Amherst got the first kill, Stanton still was able to retaliate back and just really just take down all the health of Amherst.
And it did look like LCC was getting some altercations in as well.
Here it looks like they're going to be fighting against David City.
Ooh, let's see how this is going to play out with the different play styles between these two teams. Oh, it looks like, they're getting a lot of lasering on. I guess they can adapt to the zero build game mode.
Looks like that player from Stanton, they just couldn't find any cover.
Oh my lord, this is crazy. Just getting lasered by their entire team. He's hiding in a bush. Oh, yeah, I don't see him being alive for any
Trying
longer.
to just get away, and David said he takes down Stanton there.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things I was interested in is seeing how this David City team with their playstyle last game would adapt to the zero build game mode. But I mean, it looks like they're adapting perfectly fine as they've killed the kill leaders. And really the team with the most accolades.
They have 7 kills right now, looking at it. The thing is, Stanton will get a lot of points for those kills that they got.
But they won't get any placement points.
They won't get any placement points. That is the big thing. You can get more kills, but it's really interesting the way scoring works. If you want to go for kills or if you want to go for placement.
And it looks like Winnebago did just eliminate Bridgeport.
7 teams remaining. 1 more team taken out, and then we'll start getting to placement points.
Ooh, they're driving the Hellcat. SRT Hellcat. Good car, good car. Ooh, looks like Bridgeport, or not Bridgeport, but Winnebago is having to run away from Hemingford.
He is the last player alive on his team in that Hellcat.
Oh,
Just trying to get out of there.
let's hope he can do some good. Get his teammates spawned in with some gray pistols.
Here's another example of that reboot van. The other interesting thing about these in zero build is you cannot build cover around yourself.
So he just has that car protecting him that's moving ever so closely to him.
The one interesting thing is, I thought you can reboot from the passenger door of this car to give you protection, but
You
then
can.
the enemies may know that you're in the car and just blow up the car. So it is definitely a gamble to reboot, especially in zero build.
Yeah, with that car being at 826 health, you know, it doesn't take too long.
Here is
Hemingford.
back to Hemingford, yes.
See some people up on the mountain. I do believe that could be David City, if I'm not wrong, in the G-Wagon.
That is a lot of high ground right here. And that big white light, as you can see, that was a sniper glare.
They got two snipers over there.
Snipers, especially in zero build, they have the opportunity to one-shot, and when you cannot build cover around yourself, they can be very dangerous.
Hemingford does have a lot of loot down there, so if they do want to, they can. This, you know, Jay Briner guy can always pick up an AR, and oh, that's what I like to see, picking up an AR instead of the SMG for this long-range fight.
As well with those launch pads that you can see there, if they do want to take the chance to get out of dodge. This is one of those items that we were talking about earlier that he's currently behind. Just some portable cover that you can use to just move around the map and make cover wherever you need.
Definitely do want some of these in endgame. Just so you're not, you know, getting unexpectedly hit by a sniper, but it also gives you, you know, a little bit more cover than you usually would with having to find a rock or a large tree.
For sure. Get at it here. Even we're noticing the same thing here from compared to the last game. How everybody is more on this right side, on this eastern side, and in that bottom on like the southwest, there was nobody in sight.
Different teams.
This is Laurel Concord right here.
Oh, and it looks like one of the Winnebago players just got knocked. Ooh, Hemingford going for that, you know, just spraying him from a distance. Ooh, it looks like there's one more player. He's almost dead at 11 health for Winnebago. This was the same one who had the Hellcat and was rezzing the entire team.
Looks like he's just trying to hide here.
Oh,
Does
this
he
could
see
be.
him?
Oh, he does.
He's taken out.
Winnebago, unfortunately, will not get any placement for this game either. 'Cause
Hemingford took him out, but they did secure placement points for Hemingford and the rest of the team still alive.
definitely would like to see this Hemingford team get a little bit more kills, though, so they can, you know, get a little bit further up in that leaderboard ranking.
Looks like there's one team still that is not out of that zone.
Ooh,
I believe that's that green team that must have rebooted earlier, if I'm not mistaken.
the green team.
Let's see who that is.
We have Louisville's whole team back. Ooh. Oh no turned into oh yes for them, giving them a significantly better position.
It really did. You might not have the best loot, but you are still alive.
Exactly, and it's a lot better to have numbers than have better weapons for one person. Because sharing is caring.
Here's the point of view of somebody with one of those sniper rifles.
Is he going to be able to land? You can see his feet. You can see his feet, man. Ooh, unfortunate. Misses his shots.
He only has 3 more bullets for that, but see, this is even where teamwork comes into play. There, for Laurel Concord Coleridge,
Ooh.
he knew that his teammate had sniper ammo.
David City's getting into an altercation with this Hemingford team, too. This is going to be very interesting. And, oh my lordy lord, they are just sweeping through them with no problem. And there's one of those porta bunkers like I mentioned earlier. Just Cloudsley having 3 more of them. They'll definitely put them in a great position in endgame if it comes down to a small circle.
That is the interesting thing, even just...
Oh! 50 fall
Some
damage
fall
to
damage
Cloudsy.
Gonna have to waste a medkit on that.
Unfortunate from that.
One of the more interesting strategies that you'll see here is that victory crown. Most people would be tempted to pick it up as you get cooler animations and more experience points when you win games and just when you do stuff in general. but it also reveals your location to other people in the game.
Unfortunately, they are very cool and shiny, but sometimes cool and shiny just, isn't competitively viable.
So that's one of the strategies for here. Many players, when they get one, but you get one from winning a game, they will end up dropping it.
Dude, it's like the ghost of Winnebago and that Hellcat right there, that blue Hellcat.
Using one of those porta bunkers to just throw it down and get some more.
They do have some snipers over there too. No significant, altercation has happened yet, but it does look like they could be getting some damage off. Currently, David City fighting Laurel Concord.
And it looks like Nerd Justin is still doing the same strategy and just pushing up towards them.
That's not good in this game mode, though, unfortunately, because you have 4 against 1, but now you have some cover fire coming in from the other team. And look at that, Nerd Justin is currently getting beamed. He is knocked currently.
That porta bunker takes a weird bounce right there.
Off of a rock. I didn't know rocks were bouncy. Might be made of rubber.
The one interesting thing about
Nerd
this
Justin
right here,
currently knocked, and unfortunately, just Cloudsy wastes a porta bunker trying to shield him. If he can get over there, he can get some of that good loot over there and use it to his advantage.
it is interesting how much of an advantage high ground is, especially in zero build. Because even though just Cloudsy is throwing down those porta bunkers, the people from LCC can still see over the top of them and still get some shots off.
I sure do hope they know he's down there. They might not know. Hopefully they have like the visuals footprints on, because then they could probably see his footprints.
It's like they're just going to try to not take too many peeks.
Oh, that was a laser from Duck 32.
His sniper did not quite connect, and he only has 2 more bullets left for that.
Oh, he's getting lasered.
Looking at some of the other teams,
Elkhorn Valley is currently who we are spectating.
you have a lot more teams alive in this zone. In our last build game, there was only 2 teams alive at this point, so there's a lot more right here. Looks like 2 of them are just trying to get zone advantage, and just some other ones, they're just trying to fight it out.
It does look like David City did even up. Oh my lord, what was that? That playing field between David City and LCC has become even out after they do get an elimination.
The likelihood in being able to reboot a teammate this late into the game with these zones and with this amount of people alive, with 23 people still alive, it's very slim, but it's not quite impossible. It still could get pulled off.
I definitely wouldn't recommend it though in this case, because if you find a reboot van and if it's in circle, that gives everybody your location, so that could lead to multiple teams pushing you and end up in you dying and not being able to take advantage of all those placement points and eliminations.
And the other strategy for this is there's a good chance that if you rebooted your teammate and he only has a gray pistol and nothing else, there's a good chance he would go down quite early, and he might just give 2 points to another team, which would not be a good thing that you'd like to do. But if he can stick it out, that's another player alive on your team.
It does look like... Ooh, it does look like Louisville has, been into an encounter. Looks like there is a few players left on that Louisville team. And it does also look like Hemingford was caught in the mix too.
Elkhorn Valley right here, they're just sitting in zone with that high ground and that porta bunker beaming the enemies.
Did get a dink on one of them. Oh, does he hear him? He hears him. He knows he's there.
Over here.
He saw him.
Has the high ground, forces out a porta bunker here. The whole team is giving up their position and rotating though, which is interesting.
Louisville has definitely rotated a little bit.
I think Elkhorn Valley here is just trying to just contain their whole position right here.
Ooh, little recon.
That item does mark the enemy, so now they do know that he is there.
Taking a slow approach to it, trying to hopefully get him to jump out.
And this is Laurel Concord right here. He might be able to sneak up behind him though. It's really uncertain. Looks like he's just trying to get placement points.
Does look like another player from Louisville has been knocked. Leads Paralyzer to being the last one alive.
Just hiding here trying to get those placement points again. Those zip lines are really loud, however, and everybody in that area should know that he's there, along with that car.
It did look like, LCC did just get eliminated with their last player in their last player just being eliminated by the Elkhorn Valley team.
Here might be an interesting fight potentially going down.
Yeah, they just got to make sure they time it correctly. Ooh, what happened there? That's my question. 5-tick storm, by the way.
So as the storm gradually gets smaller, the damage that you take from being inside of it also gradually goes up. So right now, every second that you're in the zone, you're going to be taking up to 8 damage right now.
Ooh, that's not a good position for either team to be in right now. And David City just
Looks
moves
like
right through
Pender
them.
does go down right there.
Just got to make sure that David City can get their health back up.
David City still alive. Looks like it's going to be there's 3 teams alive. One of them is David City. One is Elkhorn Valley. And then the solo from Laurel Concord just trying to stay alive.
Duck 32 only on 18 HP is a little bit concerning. Plus that 50 overshield, but still a little bit concerning because it
Unreal
does mean
slice from David City gets knocked.
Ooh, they're not in the best position right now.
Another player from David City gets knocked.
Nerd Justin still. Oh, he just got hit pretty hard too.
Gonna try to start popping some heals.
He just got a hit.
Getting
Oh,
some good
he's
damage off there.
Okay, it does look like there are 2 David City players left in just Cloudsea and Nerd Justin.
Looks like everybody's just gonna want to try to stay on top of that hill, because as you can see in that zone,
He's gonna try and use a kneecap. Oh, he got a pretty decent hit. Unfortunately, I don't. Oh, and Nerd Justin wins it for David City again. After the entire team of Elkhorn Valley pushes him, he
that
wins
was a
it.
crazy comeback story right there.
Yeah.
Both of his teammates died, and he just stayed alive, healed up, and came on them from behind. They didn't know he was there.
He won it with a mammoth pistol and a suppressed pistol as well.
Ending
9
with
kills.
9 kills, the most eliminations in the match.
Truly, and he adapted, fairly well after getting knocked and eliminated earlier in the match, which
He really did. That is crazy. 26 kills from David City there.
oh my lord, they almost killed half the lobby again. Is it over half?
Yeah, that is over half.
Oh yeah, it is over
49
half.
players.
Yep, 49 players. That is over half.
That is just crazy. The adaptations that David City has to take there to be able to be good in build and 0 build.
They can always just find a way to reboot their team too. It's crazy.
That is crazy. There were a lot of teams, however, that I saw got taken down. All their teammates really early, and they just barely stayed alive and maybe got a reboot off, maybe didn't. I know Louisville was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing they probably got some placement points just because they could get that reboot off in zone.
They did. They definitely did get some placement points, which good for them.
Especially the same thing with LCC.
Mhm.
Playing that 1v4, all your teammates eliminated, just being able to stay alive and get those placement points is huge.
Mm-hmm. It's massive. It's very, very massive. There is another thing that is very, very massive, and it's that low taper fade meme from earlier in the year / last year. Pretty good meme. Pretty good meme.
Yeah. Looks like right now we're just waiting for score results and just to get back to the lobby. And we're going to go to break real quick and we'll be back. Welcome back to Fortnite Division 3. We are finalizing our scores right now, making sure that that looks good. We're going to be shortly going into another match that's going to be builds. Then we're going to have one more that's going to be 0 builds. Our results are ready. Let's take a look at those. Looks like we have David City still in first place with 170 points. Looks like they got 82 from that second game, which was just about as many from the first game that they got. And then in second place, looks like we're going to have Winnebago, which is interesting. Winnebago got 47 points the first game. They did get second, but then the second game that we played, they only got 8 points, which was probably just elimination, if I had to guess, which is really interesting how they can still stay in second place, even with such a bad second game. And then in third place, we have LCC, who had Only 15 points that first game and then 38 that second game, which, as you can see, just the diversity between all the scores and kind of like how slow and steady wins the race, as you could say. And all the players just, if you look at just scores keep getting down and everything, there's a lot of teams that did, you can tell if they did better in zero build or better in build, which, because they are different games in a whole, but to be able to be the best and to be the state champion or even the runner-up, you have to be good in all of the categories.
Yeah, I mean,
Which, that's what David City is.
yeah, I mean, they have more than triple the points of second place in total right now. And I mean, 2 back-to-back first place finishes. I mean, yeah, but going on the last game's placements, David City in first, not too much of a surprise.
Which, that really was an interesting comeback story there. All of his teammates dead, and he just still, Nerd Justin just came back, really. And then in second place, we had...
Second place, yeah. Don't believe that, Loki.
What do you mean?
I think someone's trying to...
Second place, we had Elkhorn Valley, which you can see they had 33 points that game. They had a lot more of less kills, but more placement. That's where placement is a big part, but also kills come into play as well. As you can obviously see with David City, they have won both of the games, but they've also killed more than half of the lobby.
I mean, it's not surprising, to be honest. David City, I mean, their program is very rich with, good players who are probably going to end up playing in college, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were playing for these D1 schools too.
That is true. I'm interested to see in this drop 3, this build one, how it changes, how different teams try to diversify after seeing that first build, how that first build went, getting a little bit more experience through the second drop of the zero build, and then seeing if they're going to land the same spot, if they're going to try to hide from David City maybe a little bit. I'll just be interesting.
I definitely think for these other teams, if they don't want to die early on, waiting it out could be a good idea, and forcing it to go into a heal-off could also be another thing, because depending on how David City plays, you don't know how much healing they have. You don't really know how much healing anybody has.
Most of them from David City have had a lot of guns in general, not as much heals.
So, I mean, if these teams, decide, hey, we want to force it into a heal-off, that puts David City in a relatively bad position. But, I mean, they do have more guns and they do have more firepower, so if they do find somebody doing heal-off anytime in the zone, they can always, go down and, get that elim.
Which healing off, I'd say, is a lot more of a bigger strategy in these build games when you can take high ground, take low ground, find an uncontested layer, which we haven't really seen too much of that. We've seen a lot more of the wider zones because we haven't really stayed alive long enough for the zone to quite shrink down enough, but I'm hoping this game we get to see that, because our last build game didn't go that long. People got eliminated quite fast, but in that zero build, it definitely went longer. People stayed alive. There was 4 teams alive in that final zone, and then everybody just crumbled under the pressure.
I do also think we aren't surviving as long simply just because we aren't, full 100-player Battle Royale lobby. It does look like we have some more players than we did last time.
That is true. We do, looking at it right now, we have 52 instead of just 49.
We had one team finally get in. They were having errors.
Oh.
One of our teams that was having errors before, technical difficulties or whatever, is just now getting in. So that'll be good for them. Glad to have them.
Now I think it's time for the Johnson Brock, because that's who, unfortunately, we were missing. I think it's time for them to make a comeback story, Loki.
It could be. Comeback story. If they take out David City early on and just get some eliminations and some good points, that's the thing. Any team, even the ones at the bottom, could still come back and win this thing.
They just have to hope David City gets contested early. They don't have weapons, and their entire squad just dissipates in seconds. That's what
the thing. Yeah, while David City is a good team, their whole team died at least one time that last game, I believe. They just had time to get rebooted or whatever and regroup, which if they just keep getting pressured, there's a good chance they could get eliminated. It is just not all about your skill, but also your strategies in playing the game.
Because I feel like whenever a team was pushing David City, they were so scared to push up and kind of finalize on their attack when they already had numbers advantage because they feel like they would lose that fight. But if you lead into it with more confidence, you're more likely to do better.
Exactly. That's a really good way to put it. Confidence is kind of just how you'd have to play this, in my opinion. That's why we are doing 4 drops instead of just 1 or 2. Is over 4, you can kind of gain even a little bit of maturity maybe and see what decisions you made that were maybe not the best, and maybe try to have your IGL make better decisions when you go forward.
Yeah, I mean, you can adjust a lot more, kind of like, one of those little recliner chairs. You can adjust quite a bit. And, I mean, I think that's really great for each team because, I mean, it also means you have to stay consistent throughout this entire thing, like I mentioned earlier, if you do want to be the top, which David City has not had any problems doing thus far, but things can always change.
It was looking rocky for them for a little bit, though.
It was looking rocky, but they picked up their act and they ended up, with Justin getting 9 kills and, multiple kills with a mammoth pistol and a silenced pistol,
Yeah, that is definitely just a big skill, is just having good aim here.
Yeah, miracle worker right there. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Miracle worker. I was looking a little bit scary, but I mean, he was facing a guy who had the kneecapper out for most of the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, and looks like we are ready to get started here. Drop into our 3rd drop, our last build drop, so we'll see who comes out on top.
Ultimately, at this point, you're fighting for second place. I would focus on that today.
Oh.
Hamburger, David City has our, but focus on the other ones.
Right here, we have all of our teams. Let's see if we can.
Big yawn, man.
It's interesting what different people spend to do in their pregame lobby. Some people like to emote, some like to do a little triple ramp rush.
Other people like just shooting at other people for no reason.
Some people just take that time to go to the bathroom.
I could do that right now, to be honest. I am not going to.
Looking at our map here, I'd be really interested to see if more players decide to drop on that west side.
Already have, team dropping, going towards that bottom right side of the map. A lot of teams, again, going to that northwest side of the map. Oh my lord, a lot of teams are going over there. Looks like everybody's staying on that, left side of the map, and then, there's a little bit of some teams going over to the right side. It does look like there is, 2-player team right over there contesting that yellow team that's going over towards Seaport City. See if we get anything out of that. Looks like David City already got some loot too. Good drop from them.
Looks like there's going to be potentially an early fight here between these two teams, between Syracuse and
Another team?
and Johnson Brock.
Johnson Brock. A little bit of awkward, but I mean, I'm rooting for the Syracuse team. Oh, Syracuse just got it down.
Just already got 1 elimination here.
Dude, I want to see Skeeby D's name in the kill feed a lot more this round, man. I think he has what it. Oh, he's emoting on him.
Looks like we decided to build up around our knocked enemy and then emote on them, which is definitely an interesting play, I'd say, to waste materials, but
That's a good way to get booed from the crowd.
that is true.
I don't think he's not.
Here this is Stanton fighting some of these NPCs that give you some of that loot and can let you open those vaults and everything.
Moving on to Bridgeport, they are all the way on the edge of the map, over on the left side.
The good thing about landing on the very edge of the map is that you're very unlikely to be contested, but you also will have to rotate further when that storm starts to come in.
Definitely. So I do want to make sure, hopefully, that they, know to grab all the heals they can, just in case they do get pushed back a little bit further, or end up lagging behind and getting some of that storm damage.
Here is Louisville, just still looting up, dropping some loot for their team. The first kill of the match was by Twinkie Lover from Syracuse.
That's the gentleman who did that emote after boxing up his opponent.
Interesting play.
Interesting, indeed.
And then our most eliminations right now is 2 from
Adarius
44,
and
who's
he goes
on
to
Winnebago.
Winnebago. Ski BD's taking some damage right now, 70 health. He is the Terminator skin.
Getting that legendary or mythic mammoth pistol.
He is 54 health right now. Let's hope Ski BD does not die.
Opening up that vault to try to get those loot that we were talking about. Here is David City on that train again. I think I like that train strategy out of David City to just kind of try to get some good loot and be able to move around the map quite easily.
I definitely do think it's a good way to get some of that loot. Bridgeport.
Here's another team. This is Elkhorn Valley.
Changing up the skin combo for one of their players. Other players are staying relatively the same, but their loot is actually looking pretty good, with a lot of purple and blue being, prevalent in their inventories.
That does look like some good loot, and the higher rarity that your guns are, it going from gray to green, blue, purple, gold, which is legendary, and then onto that mythic that you get from the bosses. Those NPCs.
I would argue that the legendary is more of an orange color, and then you can save that gold color for the mythic one.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I do agree with that.
I would say that it depends on your colorblind settings. If I had to,
it still looks orange. I don't know, man. Maybe you're just colorblind.
Maybe I am colorblind, but it is like an orange and gold.
Oh, it looks like Skibby D just knocked Unreal Slice.
And took him out.
Yep. Oh, and then they're retaliating. Oh, numbers are even between the two, Syracuse and David City.
It's like they're doubled up in a box right here. They don't have too much room to move around.
Yeah.
It's like they're just kind of extending here.
Yeah, they're all grouped up, which definitely is not the good play for this team. And Nerd Justin takes out Nebraska fans.
That's the
16.
problem when you're all grouped up. It's just so hard to move
Skibby D is
around.
also knocked, and just like that, Syracuse is eliminated.
Syracuse does get taken down.
That's crazy, man.
That could also be called karma for emoting on your opponent after killing them.
I do agree with
Would be a good way to put it, if I had to say.
I do agree with that. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not necessary to emote on on the people. I think that's just very frowned upon activities. We don't want to promote toxicity or anything because toxicity is bad.
Looks like Louisville found a hidden buried treasure chest with some good loot.
I haven't seen one of those since like season 8, chapter 1. Oh my lord, it's crazy.
This is Bridgeport again.
Looks like they're still having some fun.
Having that same little idea, emoting in a roof of a building, try to get some placement points.
Except they're not Spider-Man this time, so they're not hanging from the ceiling.
Louisville just trying to get in that G-Wagon and trying to get some good rotations around the map. Speaking of the map, it is interesting how there has been more players that have gone to the left side of the western side now that they know that there's a lot more confrontation on the other side.
There is a confrontation happening currently over by the bottom right corner of the map.
See if we can find that one.
Oh, it's Winnebago versus David City. This was the second. This was like the final matchup in the first build match. Ooh, that's a big laser from.
That's a nice angle from Winnebago.
Yeah.
Whatever that
Duck
aim
32.
is.
Oh, he did not see him, unfortunately. Let's see. Let's see what Winnebago can do here to hopefully get some payback on that David City team. Does look like Adarius and Nerd Justin are going at it pretty hard right now. Adarius with some lower health. Another big beam. He's going to get some assistance here. Jack's Clips is currently.
Just gonna take some time to heal up. Looks like we have some nice little sniper angles.
Ooh.
Winnebago.
Yeah, Winnebago has some nice sniper angles, but when they're up close, they're kind of, they're getting hit pretty big with those shotgun shots from David City.
And they are looking like they're getting lower on their heels as well. They do have the
Ooh,
high
good
ground, though.
breakdown. Jack's Clips takes a little bit of fall damage from Melvin. Let's see what else we have going on here. Just looks like David City's settling with the low ground right now, giving some time to reposition. Except for Duck 32, who's right back at that build fight.
This is one of those fights that we were talking about earlier where it's all about just your aggression and your confidence. Winnebago is playing very confidently here, knowing that they have good loot, they have the high ground, but they are getting knocked out.
That might be death. Oh, wait a minute. Unreal Slice is knocked on David City.
From it looks like a third party that is coming in from
Stanton.
Stanton.
Ooh, oh, and Melvin gets lasered too. This puts them in bad position.
Being able
Duck
to
32 gets knocked too. David City is dwindling.
David City only having one more player left, I believe.
Jack's Clips. And he's on one, and Nerd Justin as well, but they're both fairly low. Well, except for Nerd Justin, of course, but... And just like that, Nerd Justin gets one.
It looks like Winnebago's just going to try to get out of there. Only having 2 players alive, those placement points are better than dying early.
Does look like he is going to go for the res on Duck 32, Nerd Justin. Will.
He might get it off as well.
If he can edit the... I still find it stupid that they haven't fixed that edit when, you know, you have a, you know, enemy or teammate in front of you.
Yeah, that is definitely been a thing for a while. I don't know why that hasn't been fixed yet. Does get that res off. Nerd Justin does have 3 medkits in his inventory still.
And he has 2 mythics. This guy has a great loadout, and we aren't even to placement points yet.
The interesting thing about, I believe it's the medallion that Nerd Justin has, is how fast he can sprint around the map.
Definitely does give him a little bit. Plus, with that kneecapper, that gives him that sprint too, and that extra jump height.
Yeah, so he's just going to go back into zone and try to get that reboot off. I'd be interested to see if another team tries to hold him in zone or not.
I don't think they will. I don't think they, you know, relatively care too much.
It doesn't look like there's another team really too much in the radius of them.
There is one David City player who is straying a little bit far from their team.
It's like these Stanton players are just kind of all spread out so much.
Yeah, I definitely do think it's a lot better to stay grouped together for the most part. Because, I mean, if you're apart like this team currently is, you just give them ones. You can give them a 4v1, you know, instead of, you know, a 4v4 like you really want it to be in a team game mode.
Yeah, it's really hard to stay together, but not be too close together that you're limiting, like, the box and the space that you have compared to the other team. That's what David City and Winnebago both have been doing really good this game, is they've been right next to each other the whole time, but they've all been taking their own individual space, and they can all take their same angles on the fights, but still be able to be spread out.
I mean, they you know, usually have a few people getting up into that build fight, and then they usually have some back just giving them that cover fire, which, I mean, good idea. And I mean, an even better idea from, you know, that David City team to go ahead and break down that entire build fight to reset the situation.
Looking at it, looks like all the teams are just kind of distributed evenly. Nobody really wanting to fight each other right now. David City did get that reboot van off, so all of their members are now back alive.
I mean, they already do have some pretty good loot as well, with, you know, having 3 mythics from what I've seen. And an exotic. Wow, that's crazy.
Justin is just stacked with loot.
Dude knows where to go and how to get it. It's crazy.
Taking a rift here to try to get into the air, and I think they might have spotted an enemy team that they're wanting to fight.
They might have. The other teams do definitely have, you know, they did find somebody. Another rift. Are they going to go ahead and fight that, or are they going to go ahead and, yeah, it does look like they're going to stay away a little bit and not go ahead and push that too early. Well, unless your name's Nerd Justin, in that case you might as well. Currently they are fighting the Stanton team.
Looks like they are going to look like they're going to want to get in there and fight them.
I definitely do think if they do just all spray Justin collectively, they could take him down. And with Justin taken down, that does give the David City team a little bit to worry about.
Stanton just in that G-Wagon right now, trying to run away from the fight, it looks like.
There's only 3 of them in that car. One of them's getting left behind to die. What an interesting play.
They saw no Justin was coming, and they just decided to get out of Dodge.
And someone knocked themselves. Can't tell if that's from space, or, from storm damage, or if it was from fall damage, unfortunately.
Like it's probably going to be fall damage.
Oh, there's 2 cars that might come into contact with each other right here.
Looks like they're just running and they're just getting out of there.
Nobody's wanting to fight each other, and I mean, understandable, but
There might be a fight coming down now, though.
you might want to start fighting each other if you want some of those points. You don't want to go ahead and wait too long, because if you wait too long, you get a smaller zone, and you have a higher chance of being eliminated and
But
not
they
getting
could
this
try to go for that heal off that we were talking about earlier, which, looking at a lot of these players, they do have a lot of white heals.
That is
Could be trying to do that.
And let's see. They're ruining the Porsche right now, the Porsche.
Just doing their own thing on the edge zone, looting up still. Can never have too good a loot.
Never can have too good of loot. I don't know. No, this is a car, all right. This is a great car.
I do have to say, I love the new cars that they're adding to Fortnite. Just the aesthetics that you can get from some of them.
Yeah, I do indeed like these quote unquote new cars that are just from another game that they purchased ownership of. That nobody likes that, but
It's like
I mean,
this is a fight between Elkhorn Valley and the other team being Bridgeport.
ooh, this is a pretty good fight. Someone did take a shockwave.
Looks like all of them are just going to be in that same box.
Ooh, gets a shot off. Nice one.
This is good spatial awareness from Elkhorn Valley, knowing that there's a player behind him.
Then they shot out the tires on that car. That definitely leaves a little bit less rotation for a Wild Ginge.
Because obviously cars do need tires to be able to function properly.
Yeah, unfortunately they do. I would know a thing or two because, my tires got slashed one time in the school parking lot. But, all good.
Yeah,
We
you
made
got
it out
fixed.
alive.
Nice little build fight coming in here. Looks like most of the players from Elkhorn Valley are 1 HP though.
Ooh, and it looks like this entire team is about dead, with Greasy Peach being the last one to live.
Looks like Simmons also has some problem with keeping his car tires attached.
He might just have some problems with his car in general, because one state tournament after it, he couldn't get it to start, unfortunately.
Looks like Elkhorn Valley is just going to be trying to run away from this fight, being the only person alive still.
Ooh, look at that. Pender getting lasered and 2 of their players going down.
Looks like there's a little fight. 1 player left for Mitchell.
And Mitchell's eliminated before placement again, unfortunately.
Placement is going a lot longer in this game than our first one was.
Jax Clips with 10 health, and Nerd Justin with 7 kills, leading his team.
Looking at it, he is also leading the lobbies for the most kills. And 33 clicks from Stanton has the longest elimination at 86 meters.
It's been a solid 27 seconds since that last elimination as well. Hoping we can change that sometime soon.
Just does look like that's what David City's going to want to try to do here.
I don't know. I don't know how, efficiently they'd be able to do that with one of their players being on such low health.
Louisville just kind of sitting in this bush, just waiting it out, trying to get to those placement points.
They have a team, too. You have their team right in front of them. They could honestly push this and be unexpected, and that's what they're going to do. Stanton runs
Looks
into
like
that bush. And
that might have just been a little bit miscommunicated on the timing of it.
Yeah, because one of them went out, the other 3 were still in that bush, and now 2 of them are rotating. Everybody's on 1 health, and that's
This might be Louisville down.
another joke I'm going to make about Oh No's username. I mean, his name describes the situation perfectly. Oh no, that miscommunication was not fun.
I wonder if it was just a They were being like, oh, there's people here. Let's fight them. No, don't fight them. Let's fight them. No, no, no. Stay in the bush. Fight them. No, no.
And it looks like David City is going to, kind of clean that up and, get the thirst on one of them. Oh, they're fighting Stanton as well now. Everybody's fighting over at Lone Wolf Lair.
Which Lone Wolf Lair is not in the zone. In 15 seconds, that zone will start to shrink.
Does look like David City is quite divided as well, with 2 people being on one side and 2 people being on the other.
Player from Bridgeport gets knocked.
Oh wait, no, there's just 2 very similar looking green colors. I wonder why that is. It looks like Stanton and David City is going to continue. Sheriff Cooper just gets eliminated, and that leaves Stanton with no players left and them ultimately being eliminated from this drop.
This means that there's now 6 teams left, so your placement points are going to start coming back in. Nerd Justin takes that rift. Those rifts are just so essential in being able to just get out of there whenever you want to.
I mean, it definitely oh, he's going to laser Lone Way out of the sky.
Doesn't quite get the knockdown. He's 1 HP and he knows it.
Oh, Nerd Justin getting lasered a little bit himself with a car coming at him.
Takes another one of those rifts.
You just, that's the good thing about this game. You can always reposition yourself some way, somehow, with something.
Especially with that speed he has from that medallion.
Yeah, definitely, man. This metabolism's giving him a lot to work with. Or wait, no, the medallion, not the metabolism. My fault, my fault. They're gonna laser Bridgeport's esports team. Again, this David City team is quite divided up.
Just sees that opportunity to laser somebody from the back, and he just takes it and just knocks that new player.
And looking at David City right now, they have a lot of players on low health, but Nerd Justin is almost full health and has over 100 builds left to use.
It's like Bridgeport just has 1 player left now too.
And he is currently using a med kit. He does have, the Mortal Kombat, they have that little ability which gives him the little ice thingies.
Lone Way, the player that got damaged really early on in that sky by Nerd Justin, just hiding underneath this bridge from Hemingford. Just kind of trying to, everybody's wanting to get those placement points, try to pull out, just get higher up, try to medal more.
Ooh, it does look like.
These players did not see Lone War heading underneath that bridge. They walked right past him.
The zone is getting a lot smaller, and I do like to see that because this could mean a heal-off is, in the making with 5 teams left.
Looking at it, some of these teams do have the meds that could be required to do a heal-off. Especially LCC having a lot of those splashes and a med kit.
Ooh, things are not looking good for Elkhorn Valley, and they have just been eliminated.
4 teams left
by a combination of David City and Lone Way. Oh,
Lone Way trying to get the refresh, but just didn't have builds or anything really to be able to pull that off.
And Hemingford officially eliminated from this drop. LCC. Playing it like it is 0 build. It is not 0 build.
Well, he does have 100 builds left. I'm wondering if they're going to try to go for that heal-off play.
There is a solo, as a matter of fact.
So there's 2 full squads and a solo from...
Oh, it's from Louisville.
With that...
But they're spelt the same.
Looks like he's just trying to hide it out, see if he can get 1 more placement point.
Nerd Justin might run into him, though.
Looks like LCC is really split up, and
David City is also a little bit split up, too.
They do have to get all the way across zone for that rotation, as you can see.
Duck 32 is going to be, he's going to be over there holding them on the rotation. LPS 1's in the sky. And he died to fall damage.
2 teams left. LCC and David City.
Surely you laser that. Surely.
Those rails just got in the way of LCC not being able to shoot.
Oh, Duck 32 is knocked.
Bringing it down to a 3v4.
You shoot those gas cans, those are going to explode.
I was just about to say. didn't quite put enough bullets into it, I don't think.
He did explode. It should chain react with the other ones as well, as long as you can get
The one interesting thing about this fire is that it might catch on to these wooden builds here.
And it could bring them down. And it looks like they did get broken down.
Speak of the devil, it happened right there.
Yep, and it does look like LCC.
Not switching materials there could be what just cost them.
It can be. And it does look like they are not in the best position with L. Irwin 0-14-20.
Looks like that fire really did. Just getting sprayed from every angle.
Yeah, they don't have the most health.
Knox duck.
Knox Duck!
It is a 1v2.
No more heals,
Nope, it's going to be a 1v3 if he gets that res off.
He might.
That AR just shoots so slow.
Yep, and Nerd Justin's going to come over. He's going to jump on top of him.
No health, 4 HP.
And just
Gets
like
eliminated.
that,
David City takes game 3 again.
How many? 14 kills from Nerd Justin.
That is crazy.
29 kills
29
again.
That's the same amount of kills they had that first game. That
Another
is crazy.
88 points for David City. There's no way. I think now David City has officially solidified
They
their
probably
first
have.
place finish.
Unless if they just all die to fall damage.
That I still
really
don't think
fast,
they'd be.
I don't know if they'd be able to.
They
even lose it.
still wouldn't be able to lose, even if they did. They have. What, they had like 150 something points last time. This puts them
They're gonna
over
probably
200.
Get 88 points right there from this game, if I could guess.
They are gonna get 88 points from this game. They got 88 from their first game. They're getting 88 from this game. Got 87 or like 80 something from the second game.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. It all happened so fast at the end. Everybody just trying to stay alive for placements. Just even that Louisville solo, just even being able to stay alive until 3rd place before being forced out.
Mm-hmm.
And even the same thing, the solo from Hemingford, he lasted up until, I think, 5th or 6th place.
Yeah, I mean, just wow. This David City squad is looking unstoppable.
I really liked that position that LCC had. It just was unfortunate that they didn't switch building positions and they just got their wooden builds just broken down, built out,
Yeah.
everything.
Truly unfortunate. And I mean, that stupid railing on that bridge ultimately caused their demise as well, because Nerd Justin was out in the open trying to grab the loot from his elimination.
Yeah,
and they just couldn't get a clear shot on him.
even just building a cone right there would have just put you above. You might have been able to get it. But that rift, all those rifts from Nerd Justin really played a vital part, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to move around the map as fast as they can, and it fits their playstyle perfectly.
It does. He's able to, reposition himself or his whole team. So I definitely think those rifts do, really help his playstyle a lot.
They definitely do, just for the whole team even.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a team game. Just having one good player, it wouldn't do as much. Having 4, just being able to all work together and everything. We even saw that one team in the bush, just even seeing the lack of communication, how that can cause a great play to turn into just kind of a little bit of a misfortune.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go to a break now while we get our results figured out for that game, and then we'll be back for the 4th drop of Zero Build. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We're going to be getting into our final drop of the Fortnite Division 3. We can look at results here. Looks like David City is still in first with a commanding lead. 258 points. If I had to guess, I would probably say that they're going to be our state champions. But it could all change. You never know. It might be too early to say. 2nd place, we have LCC, which they had 2nd place that game, I believe.
They did have 2nd place that game.
2nd place is 25 points, right?
Yes, I do believe.
And then they must have had one other kill as well.
Mm-hmm.
This just shows how much placement really matters, and kills are kind of optional. David City is obviously going for kills, which is why their lead is so big, but LCC really is having a really good match so far, only going for placement mostly. Well, I'd be surprised. Zero Build coming up. We'll have to see how everybody plays that again, if LCC can stay in 2nd. Winnebago and Hemingford and even Elkhorn Valley are all really close at that number 3 spot. And then Louisville, Stanton, Bridgeport, Mitchell, Pender, they're all also there. If they get a good game in this last Zero Build game, it could all change. So this last game, this one's for really all the biscuits, really. It'll help decide second place, third place, all the other places. I think, how are we doing medals for this? Is it...
I mean, it's a 4-team game, so I would say it's usually 1 through 4, but yeah, I'm not too sure on that one.
Even then, looking at it, those 1 through 4, they could change so much just from this last game.
I mean, they can, definitely. Looking at placements from last game, David City again with the first place, getting 30 points off of that. LCC getting second, getting 25 points each off of that. Third was Louisville, getting 20 points off of that.
And that Louisville, the whole team died, and that one guy just stayed alive hiding in that roof, and it got the placement points.
Yeah. And they didn't get any elims that game either.
That's true.
And then fourth place, we have Hemingford with 3 eliminations on top of that. Fifth place, we have Elkhorn Valley with 1 elim on top of that. Sixth place, Bridgeport with 4 elims. So on and so forth.
Right now, I think we're just waiting for a couple teams. 3 teams, I believe. So that should getting started soon. After our Division 3, we're going to have Division 4 at 3 p.m. and then Division 1 at 6. And then Division 2, there was some technical difficulties with matchmaking just on the Fortnite server this morning. So that'll be a different game. If you are following our Twitch, and you have notifications on, you'll get a notification when we go live.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd make sure to do that, especially if you're like watching the esports.
One thing I do want to mention, Winnebago went from second to third, and they were actually, doing pretty good after the first, drop. But ever since their first drop, they just haven't been able to replicate what they've done, getting 8 whole points in the second drop and 6 in the third.
That is true. Winnebago did die very early in our last build game.
Mm-hmm.
They were fighting David City early on, and then I think they got third-partied, right?
They did get third-partied by Stanton.
Yeah. That was definitely... You can never be so certain when you're in a fight with somebody that it's just you two in the fight.
Yeah,
so you have to be watching your back and everything. So hopefully Winnebago, if they can get another good game, their last 0-build game wasn't too good, but they're looking to secure that third, maybe even second place spot if they can get a good game here.
They just really need to start playing more for placements and not, overextending and trying to go for some elims. Because, yes, elims can do quite a bit for you. But because they're not making it to top 6, they are losing out on many opportunities for points just by placing up there.
That's so true. Right now it might even be, hey, we need to hide for David City as long as we can, try to get higher placement, and let them take out the rest of the lobby for us.
Yeah, and I do believe last round they ended in 10th place.
Yeah, which there's not placements for that. They did get 3 kills, but kills just, they don't do enough sometimes.
They don't do enough if you're not getting placements with them.
Yeah, that is so true. We're going to watch a quick ad, and then we should be back when we're ready to start.
We define the paths. You define the future. Wayne State College, where opportunities today prepare you to lead tomorrow. Get started at explorewaynesstatecollege.com.
Throughout your life, many of you will have the chance to reflect on whether or not you are willing to fight for the rights of others, fight for the things that you believe in. That willingness, that decision to fight for others is part of what I call the warrior spirit. That sense of taking action when inaction is an option. As Dr. King has said, that if you've not found something you're willing to die for, you're not fit to live. People of color, you live in a world that wants you to accept status as a second-class citizen. I live in a world that wants me to accept the fact that a kid from modest means may not have the chance to do interesting things or go interesting places. But I fought and made different choices. And I've stood in the Oval Office, and I've stood in the prison cell that held Nelson Mandela. You live in a world that is more than happy to ask you to accept what it gives you, to ask you to accept what it says who you are. And what I'm saying is you need to fight for the life that you want.
Alright, here we are. 52 players in this lobby. I think we're ready to start it up now.
This is do or die for most of these teams. I mean, if you have one bad game, you could easily go from top 4 all the way to, 5th, 6th place. And if you're down at the bottom, one good round could easily take you up to the top.
That's the thing. Looking at it right now, all these score lines, I mean, except for David City maybe, are all like incredibly close.
I don't know, man.
You could switch up. Getting that medal placements, that could mean everything, really.
It could. I mean, I think we should just give, quadruple points to everybody this game except for David City. Even if, for every kill they got, we subtracted 2 points, I still think they'd win.
It's like we're switching up a couple skin combos looking at it.
Unreal Slice is Peter Griffin from Family Guy. And he's doing his emote. He's doing his dance. Back on the battle bus.
Here is that map. As you probably have been noticing, the bus path changes directions and the slope of it every game, so it does make for differences in it. It's not always the same, and neither are the zones. Looks like we have a lot of early drops coming in, though.
Simply just because it's coming from that northwest, side of the map. But a lot of teams are going towards that right side this round.
That is a thing. In all these matches, I don't think we've seen, like, anybody landing over on the left side, even in, like, Shogun Solitude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've had anybody land over down there. And, I mean, simply just because it's so far away from everything else. And, I mean, you never know where Storm is going to, the first circle is going to form.
Looks like Johnson Barack is going to be playing just a duos game here with only 2 people.
Alright, looking at this team, Stanton looks like they're at Canyon Crossing.
I think lots of teams are just trying to land away from other teams. It does look like there's going to be a lot over in Pumped Power. This is Amherst. They have 3 people.
Including the real Fat Albert. And just like that, David City's already, gone through quite a bit of people.
Taking out Syracuse. A couple people from Syracuse quite early. This could, again, be that karma for emoting.
It could be, because, I mean, David City killed him last round, too. And, I mean, they have 1 player left on that Syracuse team, so if they find him, it's game over.
Yeah, for sure.
And Stanton.
Looks like there is been a lot of spreading out, just a lot of it.
Over in Demon's Dojo, there's a little altercation going on as well.
Let's see if we can find that.
Click on map. Micah, click on the map. Where you want.
Does look like Stanton. Let's see
This
what we
is Stanton.
And it does look like they are attempting to fight somebody else. The world
Looks
may
like
never know.
there's a knocked player over here. Might have died to the gas station.
Yeah, Mitchell.
That fire that we saw last game.
Let's see what we got going on all over the map. Looks like
Here is Lone Way from Hemingford. He was that solo alive at the end.
we defined past.
Bridgeport and
It's shiny shafts. Got some, good loot out of there. Got an explosive and the, kneecapper. I think, taking that explosive in zero build could be very nice because, it's a good way of clearing out some of that debris that your opponents are hiding behind.
that is the thing. And the kneecapper with just the movement that you get from it.
Mm-hmm. Looking at it, we do have 43 people out of the 49 total that we did have at the beginning. 12 teams remain, so we still got, a little bit more than half of these, or we have half these teams needing to be eliminated in order to get to those placements, and hopefully this game will last a little bit longer than that last one did and end up going into a heal-off.
That could be interesting. Also, our zero build game in general, they've gone longer than our build ones have.
Because people are playing more cautiously with their life.
Here is Stanton again, riding around on that motorcycle.
Do a flip. Kind of cruising. Elkhorn Valley, currently at Masked Meadows. It does look
Lots
like
of loot around here.
definitely looted the vault. What's that? Is that a legendary SMG on the floor that nobody's picking up?
That is very interesting, not wanting to pick that up.
And it does look like someone from Stanton did just get knocked.
Looks like there might have been a fight going on here.
A Whiffy Wharf. Let's see.
Maybe not.
Oh, it does look like Syracuse did get a few more of their players back. Now we have Elkhorn Valley doing their, their splashes, getting some of that health up.
Some good team healing.
It's a good idea. Good idea. It's always good. And looks like, David City's back at it again. And Unreal Slice goes down.
A lot of players going down for them.
Oh my lord,
Nerd
11
Justin
teams.
always having those mythics.
I mean, yeah, just like that, I do believe another team, not fully eliminated, but there's a lot of teams who are missing a lot of their players. Stanton just eliminated.
There is a lot of fighting going on.
Quite a lot of it. This is, just looking at this, kill feed, there's so many people just dissipating.
That is so true.
Numbers dwindling very quickly compared to how it was earlier in the game.
Here's Johnson Brock getting a vault open, getting some better loot.
Does look like
No heals for him though.
It does look like they were in a little bit of an altercation with both of them being at relatively low health until, their splashes.
And they really cannot find any heals, can they? That's just unfortunate.
And he just took some damage from an explosive.
Interesting idea there. On to David City again. They just have that same strategy of driving around in that G-Wagon, trying to find people, seeing them, and just taking them out. Looks like they're coming up against Johnson Brock here. I don't know if they know they're there or not.
And they're trying to shockwave
They
their car.
definitely hear him.
They definitely should, and they see him too. They're going to go into that little bank area, and one of them's dead. This leaves Johnson Brock in a very unfortunate position.
Just running around.
And just like that, Johnson Brock is eliminated.
Looks a little bit like he didn't even know he was there.
I can't speak. Stanton has two of their players left.
Looks like there's a lot of players not even in zone yet. Over by Crime City, that looks like there's 3 different teams.
What are the statistics looking like over the entire match? That's my question. Alright.
Looks like Nerd Justin has had 4 kills already. And David City also, with Duck 32 having the fastest kill. And Just Cloudy also having the longest kill. All from David City, so
Really
it's interesting.
overachieving.
37 players left, so
10 teams.
here's one of those teams coming out of Crime City. And this is Laurel Concord Coleridge. Currently was in second place, seeing if they could hold that lead.
I mean, if they could hold this lead, that would be pretty good for them and contribute their points to the Esports Cup. And, I think it'll be quite the tight competition between, a lot of these teams and David City, especially since David City makes it to state in so many of these individual games. And, I think they qualified for state in Valorant and Overwatch as top 2.
That is true. It'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Here is Louisville. They got 3rd the last match, seeing what they can do here. They're again just looking for another good placement game to try to pull ahead.
Those placement points definitely can pull them ahead and pull them into a second place finish if they really want it to. They just need to hope, that these other teams that have, relatively high points get eliminated before they do. So, they kind of halt their points.
Winnebago, another team here. They were also pretty high up in the placements and just in the points in general. They're going to also be seeing if they can just get some good placement. They also don't have any kills, which sometimes if you're going for placements, that's fine. If you don't see anybody, just try not to fight too much and try to stay alive into the end game.
It does look like they weren't accounting for the storm.
They came over and asked to.
Here is Syracuse.
Syracuse with Twinkie Lover and Skeeby D.
My rivals. Seth goes, no, Andrew uninstalled this without you tell us yes. To Apex, so he just uninstalled, so he started installing that.
Here's LCC again.
Looks like there's going to be an altercation coming up here soon. If they
They might see Syracuse down there.
They might not challenge them though if they're wanting those placement points.
This is a smart play from them, seeing the enemy team but choosing not to fight because you don't know what loot they have and you don't want to take the risk of being third-partied.
I definitely do like this because this is LLC or LCC, not LLC. That's a business type, but LCC. I mean, they're second place right now in points, and them just not contesting this, the team that was rolling up on them. I mean, that gives them, so much more room to get more points. I mean, definitely agree with that decision. Does look like David City and Syracuse are getting into a little bit of a, altercation. Duck 32 running out, hopefully, in his Octane. He does get lasered, but he is going to run away
Missing
from...
a couple shots through that car windshield.
Yeah, Skeeby D's probably going to go chase him, though. Looks like Winnebago's just chilling in the Ritz car.
Looks like there's another car pulling up here
And it does look like...
from Bridgeport. They see the car, choose to just keep going past, I believe. Leaving Louisville alone.
Would definitely recommend. Oh, wait a minute. And they use that car as a ramp. That's a good idea. I mean, I've done that a few times in my day, but I wouldn't recommend it, especially if, you're on the same team. I guess you could say it was a flip reset. This is Rocket League now.
One team alive for Hemingford, or one player still alive.
Could get the res. I don't think they.
He's gonna be able to maybe get the res off.
Maybe.
Couldn't quite get in the porta bunker.
Hemingford's in fourth right now.
Hemingford's the team in fourth place right now, so they really are gonna want to see if they can get some more placement.
They do have 5 eliminations, so that's a pretty good for them. 10 additional
Those
points.
are some good points, but just getting those 30 placement points, that is going to be a good thing if they could get it.
Off in the distance, we do have Elkhorn Valley kind of taking a test shot at them. They do get hit pretty hard, and the car is not moving for them. That is very unfortunate for them. The Hatsune Miku Mobile is not able to be moved. And it does look like David City's getting a little bit more action. Does look like Stanton is also taking care of some of the players from Winnebago. If Winnebago goes another round without placement points, I don't know. That might drop him out of the top 4. Might prevent them from getting a medal.
That is true.
Oh, top 8 get medals. I thought 4-team games usually get, or it's a 4-player game, though. So we're just...
It's online.
Okay, so I mean...
top 8, that's still, you want to be up there. Still a 4th place medal, it's probably better than a 6th place medal.
I do think that Johnson Brock, I mean, if Winnebago does get eliminated without these placement points, Johnson Brock, who came in very late, has an opportunity at, getting a higher placement than them. Looking at it, Syracuse was just getting dealt with by David City, with Skeeby D getting eliminated, unfortunately. Rip Skeeby D. And they're just, chilling. Nerd Justin with 6 kills, Duck 32 with 4, and Clouds. Oh my god.
With 6 kills being the most of the match.
They're just jumping out of the car now. That would have been funny if they would have taken some fall damage, but they're just, having a good time now. And I mean, nothing more fitting for this team to be red because, their school colors are red as well.
That is true.
I think I just saw the V-Lone banner in the background on one of those porta bunkers. Looking
at it, there might be a fight coming up here in Heightful Heights.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, it's this Elkhorn Valley team. They've been doing pretty good with their placement versus this. Have another team that could.
Stanton might be getting in a fight here. It's hard to tell if. It's hard to tell sometimes if teams, even though they see each other, if they want to get into a fight or not.
They're doing that bush strat.
Because here, that's exactly what it is. They're just sitting in that bush. They see the enemies up there.
Laurel, Concord, Coleridge are doing that same, doing that
Laurel,
same thing.
Concord, they know that they need those placement points.
They're playing it really smart.
And just sitting in that bush. They see Got Cooked running around up there for Stanton, but they're just choosing not to shoot because they're in zone. There's 8 teams left. They want to get that high point placement.
Moving on, Louisville, trying to go for some placement points as well. No eliminations, so I mean, definitely are playing more on that placement point side of things. Oh, it does look like David City's getting into a little bit of a fight with Hemingford.
Yeah. It's like David City's just really trying to get as many eliminations as they can sometimes.
Trying to speedrun Division 3, I guess. Let's see how they're doing over here on the Hemingford side of things.
Just trying to run away from that fight. Get out of there.
Yep, you got 2 players alive, one of which has no shield, one of which has a lot of shield.
And shield in the inventory. But however, if you look at the map, they are spread out.
They are very spread out.
With some David City in the middle.
Yeah, David City. I do believe that probably would be Nerd Justin.
Might just be trying here to just get out of there. Because Hemingford is currently in 4th place. Which they were only 60 points. And Winnebago had 61. So they're right there in that like 3rd, 4th place, maybe even 2nd place if they can get more points. Just really trying to get up there.
It does look like LCC and who else? Stanton, I do believe. We're getting to a little bit of an altercation. It does look like Got Cooked was currently and being cooked, I guess, in the past tense. Ooh, Sheriff Cooper almost dead. You gotta make sure, and just like that, LCC comes out on top, and Stanton
with
is
3 knocked players, however, and only 1 alive. Might not be able to get the reses off.
I mean, hey, here's the thing. That doesn't matter. As long as Grass 84 can stay in this and get some placement points, they have 3 elims, so they get an additional 6 points, but they just need to make sure they can stay in this.
Not choosing to take that medkit there is definitely an interesting play.
I do also see he was getting shot at a little bit, so he doesn't want to risk, getting that damage taken too much. And he does look like he's getting shot at by David City, who is going to rush him here. Oh my gosh.
Gets sniped through the bush.
By Nerd Justin.
Jeez.
Unfortunate, man.
That mammoth pistol, I'll tell you, that's just a crazy thing.
Look at this loadout, though, really quick.
The thing that's just so really incredible about Nerd Justin's loadout is he has the same loadout every game.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he likes to use and where he gets the guns, and he just keeps them the same every game. And that's what he uses to keep his aggression up and to keep fighting other teams. Be able to do that effectively.
Does look like Louisville is losing some of their players with Paralyzer running away in a car. It does look like they were taking, getting it fought by that Elkhorn Valley team who could be, moving
Here's
their position.
Elkhorn Valley, so they're just looking like they're also just trying to get more placement points.
I mean, 4 eliminations is not bad, though. It's an additional 8 points on top of, the now 5 points they get.
Elkhorn Valley is in 5th place currently with 54 points.
Oh, I don't think he hit any of those shots either.
Just missed a couple on Doug, just wide. That's unfortunate.
Just
Unreal
Cloudsy
slice.
Oh,
Just
2 are
Cloudsy.
knocked from David City. 2 are dead from David City now.
We'll see if, Unreal... Wait.
El-
Because who got
Elkhorn-
eliminated? It was...
It was just Cloudsy and somebody else.
Oh, right there. There you go.
Just looked like Duck 32 and Nerd Justin are the last ones standing on this team.
We'll see if they'll even be able to get a reboot off. If they can't get a reboot off, we could have a different person claiming that victory royale.
Ooh, he's going to get some shield off of him. The taser bomb getting lasered by Duck 32. Does look like Nerd Justin's going to play some aggressiveness on Bridgeport. Never mind. I mean, Bridgeport is in a good position too. Yep, then that's what they're doing. They're pinching them.
Still has that rift gun though, and he can just get out of there.
It does look like Nerd Justin is going to reposition himself. Duck 32 is not, too far behind him, but there's teams all over the place, and Nerd Justin's going to choose to, pick on Hemingford for a second.
I mean,
Gets in the car, taking some storm damage.
Run away.
Ooh, he's taking his chug jug. I wouldn't recommend doing that right now, to be honest. Why don't you wait and do that until you're out of the storm? Oh, wait, no, it gives him shield too. That's a good idea.
Chug jugs can be popped over time now. That's the nice thing about them.
Yeah, that's not fun. That's stupid. Back in my day, we had to, wait 15 whole seconds and sing that
And
one
you
song.
couldn't move.
Here's the laser beam. He's true blue. I
We
can't
did
say the
have
rest
to
of the
say
song.
that.
Oh, and just like
It's
that,
one
Nerd
knock.
Justin gets another knock on somebody from Elkhorn Valley.
Here's that team. They're going to try to get that res off.
They
though.
got a triple res on that
If
too.
you have multiple players resing or rebooting, it does go faster.
Nerd Justin's gonna push his team. Ooh, this puts him in bad positioning though.
Or Justin out in the middle, try to get a couple shots
They don't.
by Elkhorn
They
Valley.
aren't
or-
trying to fight him together. There was
then he
6
just rips
players.
away.
There was like 6 to 8 different players from multiple different teams just right there who could
Interesting.
have.
They were just trying to run away. They were just scared of him almost.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, right there they could have, knocked Nerd Justin and put David City's position at first in jeopardy.
They're just. It's the thing though. You're worried about. Hey, if I get in a fight and if I get killed, I might not get the placement points for my team.
But I mean, I definitely do
Blown
think
away from Hemingford, just going right past from Louisville,
the
driving right past him.
The Miku Mobile, it definitely just, blends in with the rest of the environment. This very pink car blending in with the green grass and, all these bamboo shoots all across the map. He is in the passenger seat of the Cyclone from Rocket League, which is a 2-door vehicle. I've hit a flip reset in one of these before.
Well,
Maybe he can get some placement points in this thing.
It does
too.
look like
Another team just got eliminated, and I do believe that was Elkhorn Valley, so I do think their run here is done. Let's see who that is. Hemingford just got another one of their players, knocked by the storm.
Justin and they're all the way on the other side of the map, pretty much.
Nerd Justin does only have around. Oh, he's taking his chug jug.
He only has
That's good.
60 more health left.
I mean, he's taking his chug jug.
He has no more heals available.
Ooh.
We'll have to see if
Let's see what happens here. Dude, this David City team is also very divided as well.
Smoky on his left. Don't know if he sees him or not.
Ooh. Oh, he sees Smoky now. Misses his shot. Oh!
Getting beamed.
He's getting beamed. He might fight Smoky here. That would be a good idea. Does get a little bit of tag.
He does desperately need a refresh, though.
He does get out of there with his rift gun. He has one more rift that, on his thing. He does have high ground now, and he does have the circle with
The
him,
circle
too.
is going to pull towards their direction.
This is...
There are still 4 teams alive. 2 of them are solos from Louisville and Hemingford. And then the other ones are Bridgeport, I
He's going to
believe.
grab that chug jug. He did hit for 70, or he has 70 health left. Overshield's obviously going to regenerate here soon. But I feel like once Nerd Justin goes down, if Nerd Justin does go down, this team will, be a lot weaker than it has been.
That's the thing. This game could change so fast. Look at that blue force in the bottom right-hand corner on the map.
Yeah, I mean, he is in a tree, so if they do break that tree down, he could, be of something.
Has to use a rift to get out of there.
Still only has, one rift in his gun, which is odd because it's set that for a while. Now, I do
does
think it
recharges. Yeah.
Duck 32
Whoa.
is going to get some,
It's another knock there.
I do think it is just a 2v3 or 2v2. And
It's like he's just pushing wild.
I don't blame him. And it does look like, this David City team is, or potentially will, and it looks like they won. 24-27.
With Bridgeport getting second.
28 kills from this David City team. 1 kill less than they have last round in the first
Nerd
round.
Justin with 12 and Duck 32 with 12 eliminations also.
Yeah. That was crazy.
That
I
is
think
crazy from all of them. There were so many opportunities where Nerd Justin could have gotten killed too.
Yeah, I mean, but once he just gets that, that rift gun, you can't do too much to stop him, because if he gets into a predicament, he's just going to use that rift, and if you try to chase him, he'll probably have his team on standby.
Exactly. That's exactly how it is. And that game, there was so much different placement points that came out. LCC, Louisville, all of them just had one solo left for a while. How far did Winnebago make? Do you remember?
I don't think they made it to top 6, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't
remember seeing Winnebago too much.
I think they might have just gotten, maybe 2 to 4 points from that game. And if so, that would leave them pretty low.
Yeah, we're just waiting for scores to get calculated right now. It'll be interesting once it all gets put in how scores ended up being, because that was our final match. So now we're just going to have to wait and see who's going to be our first, second, third, and everything for Division 3 Fortnite Esports.
Definitely going to be interesting to see how the points accrue and see, who's getting first, second, third, and fourth. And,
and the top 8 are medaling,
Yeah.
so that'll be good. But you always want to get a better medal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Medal is a medal, but better medal is a better medal.
I don't know, man. I think LCC, they could have overtaken David City in that last game. You never know, man.
They could have. It's hard to tell sometimes.
It is hard to tell. I mean, with David City getting, over the entire thing, they got 20-plus eliminations a match, I do believe, if I'm not wrong.
They had about half of the eliminations from every match. Just their aggressive play style and the way they just ran at everything was really good.
I mean, let's see. They probably got, they got well over, I would argue, 75 kills. 20-plus kills a game, 4 games, that's over 80 kills.
Yeah, completely. So while we just wait for scores to get calculated, we're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be right back with our results. Welcome back to the Division 3 Fortnite State Championship. We have our results in. Looks like David City got first place and is your state championship for everything with 344 points in Fortnite, getting over 80 points in every single drop.
20-plus kills a game, every single game.
Hemingford in second place with 87 points.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is just crazy. And especially LCC, they were at third place with 86 points. Just 1 point off of second place in the silver medal. That was so close. And then even more astonishingly, in fourth place, Winnebago with 85. 1 more point off from all of it. And Winnebago getting an 8 and a 6. That's just crazy.
I didn't even think they made it to, placements last game, but I guess they did.
It all turned out to be so close together. That is crazy.
That sounds like staged.
And then in fifth place is Elkhorn Valley with 71. Bridgeport in sixth place with 56 points. Stanton in seventh with 48. And then just 1 point off again, 47 points, Louisville. That was really good from everybody, really well played. I really enjoyed watching all those games.
I did. It's crazy how close, second, third, fourth were. Those were extremely close.
It was really close games. They were all really skilled teams.
And then, seventh and eighth placement-wise, Stanton and Louisville both got 0 points in the first drop. And then, after that, after that slow start, they just kind of started ramping up, playing for placements a lot more.
Yeah, that's that adaptability we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then here is our schedule for the rest of the day. We have Division 4 at 3, and then at 6 we'll have Division 1. So we'll see you back at 3 p.m. for Division 4 Fortnite State Finals.